Finally, we can talk about Shelby Oaks, written and directed by Chris Stuckmann. Who took Riley Brennan is the question the film wants us to ask. It's about a woman who is searching for her sister, who operated a YouTube channel called The Paranormal Paranoids, and suddenly disappeared. The film combines found footage and cinema storytelling. I have to stop for a moment and talk about Chris Stuckmann. He doesn't need an introduction, I'm sure, so I'm not going to say film critic turned... That is just headline garbage. If you saw my review of the Critical Drinkers film Rogue Elements earlier this year, you'll know that I have no allegiances when it comes to critiquing movies. I have been subscribed to Chris Stuckmann since around 2016, but I did not back his Kickstarter for this film, and I did not watch a single trailer or video he put out regarding this movie, because I wanted to go into it fresh and open-minded, just like I did with Rogue Elements. I think Chris Stuckmann seems like a genuinely cool guy, and I respect him and what he has accomplished. And congratulations on releasing your first feature film, man. I think one thing that has annoyed people about him is he still titles his videos movie review, when he won't rate or critique negatives about most pictures he talks about, and that's cool with me. I respect it as a writer that he believes in the old-fashioned principle of journalistic integrity. Anyone who wants to vent about other artists while they themselves are attempting to be artists is just stupid in my opinion. So I respect his decision. I still watch his videos. Just stop calling them movie reviews, my guy, because they're not. They're movie recommendations. Also, as a fellow Midwesterner, but from a better state than the one you're in, Skyline Chili is disgusting, and La Rosa's pizza makes me want to throw up all over the place. Anyway, just some Midwestern jabbing. I needed to get that out of the way right now so I can approach the film with complete honesty. I respect Mr. Stuckmann, but I won't let that affect anything when evaluating a picture. So how about Shelby Oaks? It's pretty good. I want to mention real quick the actress in the lead role, Camille Sullivan, is really good as the sister Mia. Her facial acting is some of the best I've seen in a horror film recently. There's a wonderful scene where she's in a prison place, and you can see her breath and her eyes are darting across a wall, and I was fully in her head when that scene was happening. She carries the whole film and does a great job in the role. I guess I should talk about the direction of the film. One of the things I mention the most on this channel is films that seem to be very alive with their camera work. And this one is quite alive, and that is a good thing. Stuckmann has a good eye for camera placement, and knows why certain shots should track, and why some should be further distance away. It's a nice job of directing for a first-time filmmaker. You know what I mean when I say that before you tell me his history. The first 25 minutes or so are almost entirely found footage, as we see the events that set up the mystery of who took Riley Brennan. After a sudden, I'll call it that, opening credits sequence, the picture turns mostly to a traditional shooting style, and we follow the sister Mia for the rest of the movie. She finds a tape that informs her more of what happened to her sister and her friends of this YouTube channel, which I want to say again is called The Paranormal Paranoids, which is great in a fun, dumb way. The tape leads Mia on a hunt of finding her sister and not telling anyone about it, for reasons the film sort of explains. There's a great cameo in this film from the one and only David, and seeing him always leaves a smile on my face. He just has a voice and a face and a demeanor to him that I can't ever get enough of, whether it's in They Live, or Tales from the Hood, or even Final Fantasy The Spirits Within. I will never get tired of seeing that man in my face. The mood of the film is great. I absolutely love the setup. And there's a wonderful mood-setting shot outside of her house early on in the film that is foggy and dark but lit well enough that made me smile and see a good horror movie coming from a first-time director. But the film isn't that scary in a boo kind of way. Thankfully, Stuckmann doesn't utilize many jump scares in the film. There's really only one on a porch-like area that had a jump scare factor to it. The rest of the horror that he seems to be going for is mostly psychological. And while that works in theory and greatly in the first half, it also becomes the film's biggest weakness. The second half of the movie begins to lose its way and feels less organic than it did in its amazing setup. There is a nicely shot montage section where she is browsing computers and looking up stuff about a demon, but it is brushed over so fast that it prevents the reveals that happen at the end of the film to have as much sense or emotional weight to them. I feel after that montage part, about 50 minutes in or so, the film just becomes linear and our main heroine goes to a prison, and while it's beautifully shot, it seems like it was just a set piece and didn't provide a narrative reason to be included in the film, except that it's tied to the mystery of the town of Shelby Oaks. It just seemed like a fun set piece with a fun payoff, but nothing that drove it on a story level. Then the film suffers from the old classic problem of the plot finding the character and not the other way around as it should be. We end up at a house in a forest area, and without revealing what happens there, it just seems like our heroine didn't find this place in an organic way. And the fact that a majority of reveals come from this location seemed too neatly put there for our characters to find. It's unfortunate because the intrigue of it all is so strong, but I think Stuckmann's script here betrays itself by not giving us a richer world to organically put our characters into the same situation. I also think that the truth of what is happening is not explained very well, but in a bad way, unfortunately. I don't mind ambiguity in horror films, but when the answer to what is going on is basically shown from a book during a montage, doesn't let me feel the impact of what I see once we know everything. And the last scene of the movie came so fast. I do like the last shot of the film, but wanted to spend more time in the world he was building so I could have had a more genuine reaction to how it was all being presented to me. It's similar to the issues I had with 825 Forest Road from earlier this year, where I don't know if Stuckmann knew how to lead us properly to the ending of his story that he wanted. But I do recommend this movie though. It has a great performance by a lead actress, good music to go with it, a good eye for camera work even if it is a little studenty, and a world that is really good even if I wanted to spend more time in it. Check this film out. I think it deserves your time, not just because I want independent filmmakers to be supported, but because it is a good horror film for a first-time director that is being released during the absolute best time of the year. There is a lot of promise in this picture, and I think Stuckmann has a great career in films ahead for him. I give Shelby Oaks 3 stars out of 4. I don't like that this is being called a found footage film because it really isn't. Even though I can see the inspirations this film has, it is mostly a regular horror film with some fun found footage at the beginning. But that's irrelevant. Go watch this movie. It's a fun time. And that is my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Here's links to my other videos. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.